Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for the Pioneer Women's Varsity matchup, and we have your public address announcer here with us. And why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what teams you address for?
All right. Well, my name is Mike James, and I do public address announcing for selected sports here at Pioneer High School, including basketball, specifically, which I've done since 2006. I started doing freshman JV boys, JV girls, and on occasion, filling in for the varsity teams. This year, I've actually been given the honor of doing all levels of all levels of basketball for public address.
So, what's your biggest challenge when announcing a game?
My biggest challenge while announcing a game is dealing with teams from time to time that wear light jerseys with light numbers or dark jerseys with dark numbers. Sometimes if they have an outline, it doesn't always help. So one time I was like, for example, I was announcing one of the whatever freshman or maybe football game, something like that, and it was like nearly impossible. It was a yellow against yellow, a yellow number, yellow jersey, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" So the binoculars that day really definitely came in handy.
That can definitely be tough. What do you think the most enjoyable moment you've had announcing a Pioneer has been?
I have a perfect one. The most enjoyable moment I have ever had at Pioneer while announcing was getting to announce at both Ray Fisher Stadium as well as Alumni Field here at U of M. Ray Fisher was for a varsity baseball contest. I announced twice at Alumni Field for a varsity softball contest. So there's nothing like the thrill of doing PA announcing, in this case for high school, at a college venue. It's a dream of mine.
That is excellent. And what's the best piece of advice you could give someone who wants to get into announcing?
I got three best pieces of advice I could give. One, just stay hydrated. Know the sport, have prior knowledge of the sport. And most importantly, just have fun. If you have an open mind and a good attitude, you can really obtain any dream that you have. That's all because the reason is nothing is impossible.
Thank you very much. Have a great call of the
You're
game,
very
and
welcome.
we appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
As we have 5 minutes, we have 6 minutes, 47 seconds left to go before we get going in this game. So we really appreciate some of Michael's time there. And let's play a few messages from the MHSAA, as it is the Bedford Kicking Mules women's varsity team in the Pioneer Gym to take on Pioneer women's varsity basketball. You're listening to Arbor Broadcasting. We will be right back.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at mhsaa.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Let's talk a little bit about the game yesterday, as it was a Pioneer at 2-1, beating the Lincoln Rail Splitters, who were 1-3. That moved Pioneer to 3-1. And taking a look as your scoring leaders, Lauren DeWolf had 16 points in that game, 12 points for Covington, 4 points for Clark, 4 points for Bogan. Brines had 7 points. Dombrowski had 2 points, Hicks had 5 points, and Harris had 2 points. Those were your points for Pioneer. Over on the other side, it was predominantly Teresa Clark. She had 8 points for the Rail Splitters, 4 points for French, 2 for Maxon, and 1 for Brianna Clark. So that was yesterday's game, and Pioneer with a nice big win over Lincoln, and now they're hoping to continue to make some moves, as currently, if we take a look in the SEC, again, up at the top, as we talked about yesterday, Saline is 5-0, Bedford is 3-1 in the SEC, and Pioneer is now 3-1. So the winner of this game is going to solidly move into second place. Monroe is 3-2, Ypsilanti is 1-2, Lincoln is 1-4. And then Huron is 0-2, and Skyline is 0-3. That all in the red division of the SEC. Taking a little bit of a look at the white division for the SEC, Chelsea is 4-0 up at the top on the white side. Jackson has moved to 3-1 now. Dexter is 2-2, tied with Tecumseh at 2-2. Pinckney is 1-3, and Adrian is 0-4. That is your SEC standings. So taking a look at Pioneer's schedule, they had that win. That is the JV. Let's flip it over. Helps if I have the right tab open. Pioneer started off the season with a big win versus Skyline, 78-29. They then came and had a huge win at Monroe, 61-16. They lost at Saline. Saline, again, 5-0, very, very good team. That was a 58-34 point win, and then they really took it to the Rail Splitters yesterday. So they are playing Bedford today. Bedford 6-1. We'll take a look at their schedule, and then the next game is going to be on Tuesday. That thought we had something Monday, so I'm not gonna look at that. Everything is changing and in flux with the schedules. So the Max Prep site that I was looking at probably doesn't have the most recent information there. I'll pull that up. With all the wonderful games and all the great places I get to be, I kind of live my life one day at a time at this moment. Taking a look over at Bedford, over on the 10th, they beat Monroe 55-46. Then they took out Lincoln. That was a 55-30 score. They beat Chelsea 54-44. They beat Ypsilanti. That was a non-league game, by the way. That's why Chelsea in the SEC is still undefeated. They beat Ypsilanti 48-24. They lost to Saline. Again, Saline tough on everyone. That was a 49-32 win for Saline. They beat Lenawee Christian down in Adrian. That was a 49-40 win. And then they beat on Tuesday Huron. That was 58-28. So that is 6-1 on Bedford's side. So Pioneer has their they have their work cut out for them. As we are getting ready, under a minute to go, we'll play Push On as Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball is live and on the air. Bedford lined up to our left in their warm-ups. Pioneer comes out onto the court in their whites as we're getting ready for a little pregame action here. The national anthem and starting lineups.
For tonight's game between your Ann Arbor Pioneers and the Lady Mules from Bedford High School. At this time, we ask that
Now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, the playing of the national anthem. as we're getting ready for the starting lineups here.
The starting lineups. First, let's meet the Bedford Kicking Mules. Starting number 4, Savannah Cullinan.
Killinan being announced for Bedford as she comes
For
out.
the Pioneers, number 1, Jackie Brown.
Brines coming out for Pioneers, starting.
For the Kicking Mules, number 11, Grace Ryan.
Ryan starting for the Mules.
For the Pioneers, number 4, Lauren DeWolf.
DeWolf for Pioneer comes out as a starter.
Next for Bedford, starter number 12, Molly Koviak.
Koviak for Bedford comes out as a starter.
Number 14, Maya
Hicks, runner-up to the Player of the Week for last week. Very, very close vote, just by a touch. Wyrick as starter for Bedford.
23, Melissa Stewart.
Stewart starting for Pioneer.
And for the Bedford Mules, number 33, Sophia Gray.
Gray starting for
For the Pioneers,
Bedford.
let's say hello to number 33, Kayla Covington.
And actually, Alexis Clark comes out. As they call Kayla Covington, but Clark getting the starting nod, Alexis Clark. Bill Ryan, the head coach for the Varsity. By the way, Corey Burgermeister, the JV coach for the game before this. Getting ready to go now. Wyrick in front of us to inbound for Bedford. 8 minutes up on the clock. We are getting ready for a fantastic varsity basketball matchup after an exciting JV matchup, as now they're going to have got to fix the starting lineups as they'll bring Covington in. Clark will sub at the first opportunity. So Covington on the starting lineup. Both of them fantastic in the paint. Doing excellent work. So Wyrick inbounds. That's going to be brought ahead by Killinan. Over to Wyrick. Killinan has it, top of the arc. Over on the near side to Wyrick. That moved over. Getting it back is Killinan. Back and forth from Koviak. Now underneath that, put up high off the glass, off the front of the rim. Getting her own rebound and putting it in is Koviak. First points of the game, Bedford up 2-0. DeWolf has it. Now Hicks for Pioneer, top of the key. Moved over to Brines on the near wing. Brines gets it over to Stewart. Stewart works her way around the arc. Gets it over to DeWolf. DeWolf moves it over to Brines on the far wing. Brines sees Hicks. Hicks, top of the key. Hicks back to Brines. Brines over to DeWolf on the near wing. Being watched by Killinan. Now double team. Moves it over in the near corner for Brines. Thought about it. Now works her way around the arc. Gets it back over to DeWolf. DeWolf, top of the key. Trying to work her way into the paint. That tipped and out of bounds. That should stay Pioneer ball, but good defensive play. So now Covington goes out. Clark comes in. The ball will stay with Pioneer. Bedford with the 2-0 lead. 6:59 left to go here in the first. As DeWolf inbounds to Hicks. Hicks gets it underneath to Clark in the paint. Now Brines puts up a three-pointer. Off the front and the back of the rim. Would not fall. Rebound Bedford as Killinan brings it up court. Being watched by DeWolf. Killinan gets it on that far side to Ryan, then gets it back top of the key. Trying to put it underneath the Koviak. Knocked away. Killinan over on the far side to Ryan. Ryan gets it underneath. That rolls right off the rim as Koviak couldn't get that to fall. Now puts it over on the far side, off the glass and in. As that was Gray for 2. That makes it 4 for Bedford. Nothing for Pioneer. DeWolf has it. DeWolf kicks it out to Brines. Brines works her way down to the baseline. Whistle, they're going to call it traveling. That'll go over to Bedford. 6:13 left to go here in the first. Bedford with the 4-0 lead. As now Covington comes in, replacing Brines. So you have both Covington and Clark. That inbounded to Wyrick. Wyrick bring it up. Hicks watching her. Pioneer getting some full court pressure. That pulled ahead by Koviak. Koviak gets it over to Killinan, trying to get it underneath. That knocked away by Covington, out of bounds. That'll go over to Pioneer as Gray trying to corral it. As we have the cheerleading squad to our right, providing some fantastic atmosphere. Bedford up 4-0 on Pioneer. DeWolf brings it over center for Pioneer. DeWolf hands it on the far wing. Clark shows the screen. DeWolf coming down that far sideline, now takes advantage. Gets to the free throw line, kicks it back to Hicks. Hicks, bounce pass underneath. Clark trying to get it over to Covington. That's just a little hot. Out of bounds. That'll go over to Bedford. 5:35 left to go here in this. The first. Bedford up 4-0. As Killinan will inbound for Bedford. DeWolf watching the inbounds pass. Killinan gets it over to Ryan. Ryan has Covington watching her in the backcourt. Ryan over center for the Bedford. Gets it over to Killinan. Killinan working her way right at the blockades. Now gets it over to Gray. Gray on the near wing. Clark providing heavy pressure. That ball comes off. Covington gets the rebound. Heads it over to DeWolf. DeWolf for Pioneer. Goes straight down. Rolls it up and rolls it in. DeWolf with the first points for Pioneer. As Bedford 4, Pioneer 2. Bedford quickly ahead. That into the paint. Foul called. So at the line is Bailey shooting 2. Or excuse me, Koviak. Koviak puts it up, puts it in. That is her third point, looking to have 4. Looking to make a 4-point Bedford lead. That is up, that is in. So Koviak with 4 points. Bedford 6, Pioneer 2, 5:02 left to go. Here in the first, DeWolf brings it down the far side of the court for Pioneer. Over center. DeWolf approaches the top of the key. Covington provides a screen. DeWolf on the near wing. Looking to get it underneath. Now moves it back to Hicks. Hicks at the free throw line. Steps back. That's blocked. Pulled away by Bedford. Trying to tie it up. Pioneer. That ball goes out of bounds. That's going to be a foul on Covington. That's her first. 2 fouls on Pioneer, none on Bedford so far. As Ryan has it coming down the near sideline. Covington providing full court pressure. Ryan moves it over to Killinan. Killinan gets it over to Koviak. Koviak on the far wing. Koviak trying to get it underneath for Gray. Gray sets it up. Foul on Ryan as she goes to the basket. As she was hit by a Pioneer player underneath. That's going to be a foul on Hicks. That should be her first. 3 fouls on Pioneer. 4:21 left to go. Bedford with the 4-point lead. First shot off the back of the rim would not fall for Ryan. She gets one more. She was in the process of shooting when fouled. As Ryan bends at the knees, eyes the rim, puts it up off the front of the rim, wouldn't go. Covington with the rebound ahead to Stewart. Stewart coming down the far side for Pioneer. Moves it over to DeWolf. DeWolf on that far wing. DeWolf steps back top of the key. Over to Hicks on the near wing. Hicks dribbles to her right. Puts it up for 3 and hits it. Hicks makes it 5 points for Pioneer. 6 for Bedford. Bedford with the 1-point lead. Killinan brings it ahead for Bedford. DeWolf watching her. 2 number 4s battling. As that over to Koviak. Now 3-pointer for Gray. Gray hits it. Puts back the lead to 4 points as it's Bedford 9, Pioneer 5. 3:38 left to go. Hicks has it for Pioneer in the backcourt. Comes over to the far sideline. Over to Stewart. Hicks gets it back. Top of the key. Over to DeWolf on the near wing. DeWolf works her way around the arc. Stops at the free throw line. Trying to get it underneath to Covington. That tipped by Koviak out of bounds. That will go to Bedford. 3 minutes, 25 seconds left in the first. Bedford 9, Pioneer 5. Bedford to inbound, bringing it ahead is Podlowski. Podlowski for Bedford. Skies it in the paint, put it up. That wouldn't fall for Koviak. Pioneer ball. That's a foul on Gray, I believe. Trying to get confirmation. So yeah, that's on Gray. That's Bedford's first foul. DeWolf brings it over the line for Pioneer. Hicks has it on the near wing. Hicks dribbles to her left. Hicks. There's another foul. That one on Bedford. Hicks will inbound underneath her own basket. That's 2 fouls on Bedford, 3 on Pioneer. That out to Stewart. Hicks inbounds to Stewart on the near wing. Stewart dribbles to her right, gets it over to DeWolf on the far wing. DeWolf dribbles to her left, tries to cut into the paint. Now backs off, stutter steps, puts it off the glass, wouldn't fall. Clark trying to pull it away. Battle for it underneath. That's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow pointing towards Pioneers, so they will have possession. As DeWolf will inbound, Bedford by 4 points. DeWolf underneath their own basket, gets it over to Hicks on the near corner. Hicks underneath to Clark. Clark between 2 players, puts it up, puts it in. Clark with her first points of the game. Bedford 9, Pioneers 7. Bringing it ahead, Podlowski for Bedford, working against Brines. Now Killinen moves it over on the near side, over to Koviak. Koviak on the near wing. Koviak being watched by Stewart, that over to Gray. Gray, top of the key, back over to Koviak. Koviak trying to put it into the paint. Clark steals that away. Clark ahead to DeWolf. Here comes Pioneer. DeWolf over center, moves it over to Hicks. Hicks with the three-pointer. Hicks buries the three-pointer. Pioneer 10, Bedford 9. That gives Pioneer a 1-point lead. As Killinen brings it ahead for Bedford. She goes over center, her and DeWolf battling. Killinen spins with it, gets it over to Gray. Gray trying to get to the baseline, puts it up. That's just a little hard, pulling it away. Here comes Hicks with it for Pioneer. Pioneer with the 1-point lead. That brought down the baseline for Stewart. Would not fall. That'll go over Bedford's way. 1 minute, 39 seconds left to go here in the first. Pioneer 10. Bedford 9. Couple timely three-pointers by Hicks, helping the cause. That pulled ahead, inbound to Ryan. Here comes Bedford as Killinen brings it ahead for the Mules. 1 minute, 30 seconds left to go. Killinen trying to get it over to Podlowski. That off of her hands, out of bounds. That'll retain Bedford ball. Killinen to inbound. DeWolf watching her. Spinning with it is Koviak. Trying to knock that away was Covington. Battle for it. Picked up. That's Podlowski with it. She skies it over on the far wing. That moved right back over to Killinen. Top of the key. Over into the far corner. Podlowski knocked away. Here comes Pioneer. DeWolf with it for Pioneer. DeWolf gets into the paint, puts it off the glass, would not fall. Clark trying to get the rebound, battle for it underneath. Bedford comes away with it as that's Podlowski with the rebound. Podlowski comes into the near corner, skies it, gets it to Killinen. Killinen moves it on that far side. 3-point shot would not fall as that was Nodolny for that. Up and in quickly for Hicks. And that is 8 points for Hicks. 36 seconds left to go in the first. Pioneer 12, Bedford 9. Pioneer on a run as that's pulled ahead by Killinen. Killinen on the far side over to Ryan, keeping it out of bounds. Ryan comes into the paint as they call that a blocking foul on DeWolf. Believe that's her first. 23.7 seconds left to go. At the line is Ryan, shooting 2 as it was in the act of shooting. So she has an opportunity to make it cut the lead to 1 by Pioneer. Ryan bends at the knees, puts it up, puts it in. That's her first points of the game. Second shot coming for Ryan. Spins the ball, dribbles it. Eyes the rim, puts it up. Rolls off the front, the back, the front again, and down. 2 points for Ryan. It's a 1-point lead for Pioneer, 12-11, 21 seconds left to go here in the first. DeWolf brings it over center. Pioneer playing for the last shot of the quarter. DeWolf on the far wing. Clark looks to set a screen. DeWolf has it now on the near wing. Looking for a place to go, moves it to Hicks. Hicks into the paint, floats it up off the back of the rim. Rebound is by Bedford, but that is the end of the first. At the end of one, it is Pioneer 12, Bedford 11, as you have 8 points for Hicks, 2 points for DeWolf, 2 points for Clark on Pioneer's side. Over on Bedford's side, 5 points for Gary, 4 points for Koviak, and 2 points for Ryan. As we'll play a moment of push on, get you ready to go for this second quarter. You're listening to Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. I want to say thank you so much to David Brines for the kind words. He wrote in several times last year as well, and we appreciate that, listening up in Petoskey. Thank you very much. The ball inbounded by Nadella. Coming down, here comes Bedford with it is Killinan. Gets it over to Ryan. Ryan top of the key. That moved over to Podlowski. Now right back with it on the near side. Podlowski moves it over to Koviak. Koviak being watched by Covington. Over on the near side, over to Ryan. Ryan on the near wing. Ryan works her way, top of the key, trying to sky it over on the far side. Here comes Hicks with it. Hicks puts it up off the glass and in. Maya Hicks. That's her 10th point. Pioneer 14, Bedford 11. Bringing it ahead is Killinan. DeWolf watching her. Killinan for Bedford. Brings it over center. Spins with it. Gets into the paint. Now kicks it into the near corner. That just a little strong for Nadelny. Bringing it up is DeWolf. DeWolf has it over to Hicks. Hicks for three. That one off the glass in the side of the ring. Covington gets it back to Hicks, though. Moves it over to DeWolf on the near wing. Underneath the Clark. Clark in the paint. Clark spins with it. Gets it back to DeWolf. DeWolf coming down the baseline. Floats it up. That off of the rim. Gathered down by Podlowski. Bedford ball. Pioneer up 14-11. As bringing it forward. Killinan with it at the... gets to the top of the key. Now pulling it away. Nadalny over to Killinan on the near wing. That moved over to Ryan, top of the key. Now over on the far wing, that's Koviak. Koviak being watched by Covington. Now Ryan on the near wing. Clark watching her. Step back, that to Killinan. Killinan moving it over to Podlowski. Podlowski top of the key. Podlowski has Brines on her. Grabbing it, Ryan on the near wing. Clark trying to watch that. Ryan gets into the paint, floats it up off the glass. Shooting two, that will be a penalty against, I believe. That is going to be DeWolf's second foul. 6 for Pioneer, 2 for Bedford. At the line shooting two is Ryan. Pioneer 14, Bedford 11. Ryan has a chance to make it a 1-point game. Ryan toes the line, dribbles the ball, bends the knees, spins it, looks up, puts it up, rolls around and in. Ryan with her third point. All free throws so far. Bogan comes in for Pioneer, as well as Harris. Hicks, Covington, and Clark are your other players for Pioneer. That put up would not fall for Ryan. As good rebound by Clark. Here comes Hicks for Pioneer over center court. Hicks on the far wing. Hicks in the far corner trying to get it over to Clark. Clark on that far wing. Clark trying to sky for Covington. That's stolen away by Ryan. 2-point lead for Pioneer, 14-12. As the ball pulled ahead by Nadalny. Nadalny on the near corner. That grab by Wyrick. Wyrick, top of the key. Wyrick being watched by Bogan. Wyrick thought about putting it now. Moving it over to Ryan. Ryan, bounce pass over to Nadalny. Underneath, Hicks got a piece of it. Hicks trying to dribble it away. Nadalny pulls it away. Now at the top of the key, spinning, coming over the near side is Wyrick. Bogan watches her. That underneath. Ryan puts it up, puts it in. That gives her 5, 14 apiece. Both teams sitting at 14. Hicks has it, hands off to Harris for Pioneer. Harris on the far wing. Moves it over to Clark. Clark top of the key over to Bogan on the near wing. Bogan dribbles to her right, gets it over to Hicks on the far wing. Hicks dribbles, top of the key, moving it underneath to Covington. Covington has that tipped away by Koviak. Koviak had the other way for Bedford. Into the paint, puts it up. That So we'll take a timeout. We'll play a quick message from the MHSAA. You're listening to Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
We are live from the main gym here at Pioneer, and it is 14-14. So the basket did not count. Waved off. Offensive foul called on that one, as it'll be Pioneer ball, bringing it in. Hicks bringing it ahead for Pioneer over center. Hicks approaches top of the key, moves it over to Bogan on the far wing. Bogan over to her right to Harris. Harris over on the near wing to Hicks. Hicks trying to get it to Clark. That tipped away. That's off of Pioneer as Gary got a hand in the way. Bedford. Wyrick inbounds it. Bringing it ahead is Nadalny for Bedford. 14 points apiece. Nadalny, top of the key. Moves it over to Gray. Gray underneath. That to Koviak. Koviak can't hit it as she got too far underneath the basket. Rebounded by Covington. Here comes Bogan for Pioneer. Bogan over center. Bogan over to Hicks on the near wing. Hicks dribbles down baseline, puts it off the glass. Little too strong. Covington with the rebound. Grabbing and causing, I believe that was Nadalny, causing the jump ball. Arrow points Pioneer's way, so Pioneer to inbound underneath their own basket, baseline left. 3:56 left to go here in the second. 14-14 is the score. DeWolf to inbound. DeWolf has that tipped away, trying to get it to Stewart, out of bounds. That'll stay Pioneer ball. Stewart will inbound on the near sideline. Stewart inbounds to DeWolf. DeWolf on the near wing. DeWolf handing it back to Stewart. Stewart works her way around the arc. Steps back right on the blockades. Stewart gets a little room to work. Gets a screen from Covington. Bounce pass. Kick ball. Grabbed by Bogan. $14 apiece. 3 minutes, 39 seconds left to go before halftime. Pioneer ball, Stewart to inbound right in front of the Bedford bench. That gets it to DeWolf. DeWolf on the far wing. DeWolf dribbles to her right along that far sideline. Covington shows a screen. DeWolf cuts to the free throw line, gets it to Hicks. Hicks for three. That just off the front of the rim, trying to pull it into the far corner. Out of bounds. Stewart trying to get it. That's going to go over to Bedford as Killinan will inbound. Pioneer 14, Bedford 14. 3:22 left to go before halftime. Bedford to inbound as they'll get it to Wyrick, then get it right back to Killinan. Killinan brings the ball ahead for the Mules. DeWolf watching her right at center court. She gets a screen. Killinan has that pass pulled away by Covington. Now battle for it. Hicks gets it. Hicks moves it over to DeWolf. DeWolf over center court. She avoids a possible steal. Gets it over to Hicks on the near wing. Underneath, spinning with it, Clark. That would not fall. That off the glass, pulled down by Gray, coming the other direction. Here comes Bedford with it. Koviak over center. Koviak hands it off to Killinan. Killinan top of the key, dribbles to her right. Picking it up, Ryan. Now on the far side, that's Koviak with it. Back over to Ryan on the near wing. Ryan moves it, top of the key. And that's a three-pointer for Killinan. And makes it Bedford 17, Pioneer 14. DeWolf brings it ahead for Pioneer over center. Stewart to her left. DeWolf on that far wing. Hands it off to Hicks. Hicks moves it over to Clark, top of the key. Clark gets it to Stewart on the near wing. Stewart dribbles to her right. Over to DeWolf on the far wing. Covington shows a screen. DeWolf cuts into the paint. That blocked. Killinan gets called for a foul. 2 shots coming for DeWolf as she was in the process of shooting. DeWolf has a chance to cut the Bedford lead to 1 now. 6 fouls on Pioneer, 3 on Bedford. 2 minutes, 4 seconds left to go before halftime. DeWolf puts it up, puts it in. That is her 3rd point. Dribbles the ball, bends at the knees. Eyes the rim, puts it up, puts it in. Nothing but net. That's DeWolf's 4th point. It's a 1-point game. Bedford 17, Pioneers 16. That brought ahead by Koviak. Koviak moves it over to Killinan on the far wing. Killinan gets it back. Covington watching her. Koviak on the near wing, double team. Killinan trying to get it along the baseline, dribbling as that's Wyrick. And hot pass, trying to handle it. Koviak could not grab it. That's going to go out of bounds over to Pioneer as DeWolf brings it over center. 1 minute, 41 seconds left to go. Here in the second, DeWolf on the far sideline. DeWolf gets it over to Clark, top of the key. Clark moves it over to Hicks. Hicks dribbles over to the right to Stewart. Stewart steps back along the blockades, calling out signals, dribbles to her right, hand off to DeWolf. DeWolf comes up, free throw line, puts it up, off glass and in. That is 6 points for DeWolf. Pioneer ahead by 1, 18-17 in a back and forth contest. 1 minute, 6 seconds left to go before halftime. Killinan has it, gets it ahead for the Mules. Now there's a shot by Gray. That off the back of the rim, battle for it underneath. Rebound by the Mules, shot and a three-pointer. That was Koviak with that one. That makes it a 2-point lead for Bedford. 41 seconds left to go before halftime. DeWolf for Pioneer has it in along the far sideline, right in front of the scorer's bench. Hines looks to come in at the next whistle. Pioneer playing for the last shot, looking to tie it before halftime. DeWolf in no hurry. Covington moves over into the far corner. Hicks on the near wing. DeWolf calling out signals. Now steps back. 14 seconds left to go. Now 13. Now DeWolf calls, he moves it over to Clark. Clark gets it over to Stewart. Stewart, 6 seconds left, moves it over to Covington. Covington, bounce pass underneath the Clark. Battle for it on the ground. Jump ball, arrow going towards Bedford. 0.3 seconds left to go. So unless Bedford can basically tap it up, there's probably no way they can really get a shot off in 0.3 seconds. Bedford 20, Pioneer 18. There is the end of the first half. At the end of one, it is Bedford 20 and Pioneer 18. Taking a look, if I can, and by the way, the points I have here are just my writing, so they're not official. But taking a look, 10 points for Hicks, 6 points for DeWolf, and 2 points for Clark for Pioneer. 3 points for Killinan. That would be 5 points for Ryan. Let's see. 7 points for Koviak. And 5 points for Gary. That's where we are at. So we'll take a moment, step away, play a few messages from the MHSAA as the Pioneer cheer team comes out to perform. And you know what? We'll leave it here. I'll take the headset off so you can hopefully get some music and watch this team go to work for your halftime performance. Fantastic job by the Pioneer cheerleading squad, providing some atmosphere inside of here. We are very, very grateful. Otherwise, you have the JV team who just played for Bedford, so you almost have a little bit more cheering, although both benches are really trying to will on the players. You get a lot of energy from the benches for both of these teams. So let's play a few messages from the MHSAA. We'll play some music. We'll be back as it's 8 minutes left to go in halftime. Bedford 20, Pioneer 18. You're listening to Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You have to wonder sometimes how folks in the stands, so far removed from the action and who have probably never had any training, actually think they can see the play and apply the rules better than the officials assigned to a game. If you're that good, please register immediately at MHSAA.com. We need more officials on the playing surface and fewer in the stands. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Think of a high school game as a 4-lane highway. Coaches, players, officials, and spectators, each with their own lane. Sportsmanship depends on everyone not crossing over the line. Fans keep it between the lines when they cheer positively for their team. So don't cause an accident. Stay in your lane and let the coaches, players, and officials do their jobs. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Power Ratings will be used this year in soccer, basketball, and boys lacrosse to seed the district tournament in those sports, and you can follow along. Visit your school's page on the MHSAA website to see how your team is faring, and you can look at statewide lists as well. And if you see your team is missing a score, submit it. Learn more about the Michigan Power Rankings at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
So we're getting ready to go here. Pioneer has possession. Bedford up on the scoreboard, 20-18, 8 minutes up on the clock. DeWolf has it, bringing it onto the near corner, hands it off to Stewart. Stewart, top of the key, over to Bryans. Bryans on the far wing. Bryans being watched by Wyrick. Back over to DeWolf. DeWolf at the free throw line, kicks it back to Hicks underneath to Clark. Clark spins with it, puts it up, wouldn't fall, rolled off the back and the side of the rim. That ahead by Bedford as here comes Killinen with it. Killinen gets it over on the far sideline. Whistle. Hicks gets a foul. I believe that's her second. First foul of the half for Pioneer. Inbounded. Bedford gets it to Ryan. Ryan on the near wing, trying to get it underneath to Gray. Clark does a good job trying to not permit that pass to get underneath. Spinning with it, Ryan. Now over to Killinen. Killinen dumps it underneath to Ryan. Ryan dribbles once, puts it off the glass, won't fall. Bryans with the rebound. Bedford 20, Pioneer 18. Here comes DeWolf over to Stewart. Stewart in the near corner, hands it off to Hicks. Hicks dribbles around the arc, gets it back to DeWolf on the far wing. DeWolf over to Clark, now moving it to Stewart. Whistle blown. So that's going to be a foul on Hicks. That is her third foul, second of the half for Pioneer. As Killinen brings it ahead for Bedford. Bedford with the 2-point lead. DeWolf watching her. They head ahead to Gray. Gray, top of the key, being watched by Clark. Gray gets it over on the far side to Koviak. Koviak trying to get it underneath. There's a shot from the free throw line. Grabbed in along the near side. That put up along the baseline, knocked down. Getting her own rebound was Ryrick. That pulled away. Ryan had it. Now Killinen works her way around the arc. Killinen puts it baseline. Trying to put that up was Koviak, and foul call. Call that on Stewart. Third foul for the half for Pioneer. None for Bedford. Shooting foul for Koviak. She'll shoot 2. 6 minutes, 27 seconds left to go. That makes it Bedford 21, Pioneer 18. One more coming for Koviak. Trying to make it a 4-point lead for Bedford. That ball up and in. Pioneer inbounds. Here comes DeWolf for Pioneer. Over center court. DeWolf comes on the near wing. DeWolf dribbles to her right. Now kicks it back to Clark. Clark moving over to Bryans on the far wing. Bryans comes top of the key over to Hicks. Hicks on that far wing. Gets a screen from Clark. Puts it up. Puts it in. Hicks still feeling it. That's her 12th point. 2-point lead for Bedford, 22-20. 6 minutes left to go in the third. Killinen trying to brush off the Wolf. Screen. Now Killinen moves it over in along. Gray has it on the near wing. Back to Killinen. Just on the edge of the blockades. Killinen dribbles to her right. Gets it over to Ryan. Ryan over to Gray. Gray on the near wing. Gray has Clark watching her. Gray gets it over to Ryan. Ryan over to Koviak on the far wing. Koviak dribbles along that far sideline. Skies it again, trying to block that entry pass was Clark, put up by Gray. Gray puts it in. That is her 7th point. Makes it a 4-point lead for Bedford. As DeWolf hands it off to Stewart on the near wing. Over to Hicks. Hicks over to Bryans. Bryans in the far corner. Bryans gets it back to Hicks. Hicks moves it over to Bryans on that far wing. Bryans over to DeWolf, top of the key. DeWolf dribbles to her right, trying to work against Killinen. Now hands it off to Stewart. Stewart over to Bryans. Bryans comes into the paint, passes it back to DeWolf. DeWolf thought about it, backs off, now works her way around the arc. DeWolf over to Clark. Clark with a shot from the free throw line, puts it in. That's Clark's 4th point. Again, 2-point lead for Bedford, 24. Excuse me, was that Stewart? Forgive me, I saw the 2, thought it was 24, not 23. So Bedford with the 2-point lead, bringing it around is Ryan. Ryan into the paint, kicks it back to Killinen. Killinen for 3, hits that. That makes 6 points for her, 27 points for Bedford, 22 for Pioneer. 5-point lead for Bedford as Hicks has it top of the key. Over to Brines on the near wing. Brines moves it over to Stewart. Stewart kicking it back to DeWolf. DeWolf over to Hicks on the far wing. Hicks for three. Hicks hits it. That's her third three-pointer of the game. 15 points for Hicks as she's really feeling it today. That pulled away. Now coming the other direction. Here comes DeWolf. DeWolf has that tipped away. Apparently my eyes are playing tricks on me, but that's all right. Okay. 27 points for Bedford, 25 for Pioneer, 3:42 left to go here in the third. Hicks inbounds to DeWolf. DeWolf on that near wing, getting it underneath to Clark. Clark quickly closed on. Foul called. It's going to be, I believe, on Koviak. First foul for Bedford on this half. 3 fouls for Pioneer. DeWolf inbounds to Hicks. Hicks thought about it, moves it underneath to Clark, bounces it back to Hicks. Now Brines takes a three, just not strong enough, but grabbed by Stewart. Stewart trying to get it to Clark. That pulled away by Killinan. Killinan quickly ahead as knocking it away. Ryan had it. DeWolf poked that away. Whistle blew. That is, I believe, the third foul on DeWolf as well. Pioneer's fourth foul. Shooting 2 is Ryan, looking to extend it for a 4-point lead. That up and in for Ryan. She gets one more. She toes the line, bends her knees, puts it up, spins it. That off the rim, pulling it away as here comes Hicks with it, dribbles on trouble over half court, moves it over to DeWolf. DeWolf for Pioneer, top of the key, hands it off to Brines. Brines getting it over to Hicks on the near wing. Hicks, top of the key to Stewart. Stewart trying to dribble, hands it off to Brines. Brines moves it over to DeWolf. DeWolf thought about it, dribbles through the legs, now over to Hicks on the near wing. Hicks trying to get it inside to Clark. Clark quickly double team. Clark along the baseline tries a hook. She was a little too deep for that. That poked away from her. Still battling on the floor. As that's going to be a jump ball. As it's Bedford 28, Pioneer 25. 2 minutes, 45 seconds left to go here in the third. Bedford ball after that tie-up possession arrow, pointing Bedford's way. Killinan inbounds it. Bringing it the other way is Nodalny. Nodalny over center for Bedford. Quickly gets it over to Koviak. Koviak, top of the key, over in along the near sideline underneath the Gray. Gray puts it on the far corner. That a little high. Clark the rebound. Clark gets it ahead to Brines. Brines into the paint. Brines off the glass and in. First points for Brines, though she's been very active. That's a 1-point lead for Bedford, 28-27. The ball to Ryan. Ryan works her way around the arc, trying to get into the paint, lifts it off the glass, rolls off. Clark with another rebound. Pioneer with a chance to take the lead. DeWolf coming down, sends it ahead to Hicks. Hicks stops, gets it back to DeWolf. DeWolf on the near wing, moves it over to Clark. Clark back to Hicks on the far wing, over to DeWolf. DeWolf on the far sideline, getting instructions from Coach Hicks. DeWolf moves on the near wing, now works her way around the arc, kicks it to Brines. Brines steps back, top of the key. Brines being watched by Koviak. Now there's a shot off the rim, grabbing at Brines on the rebound, over to DeWolf. DeWolf thought about it, now she puts up the three-pointer and nails it. That's DeWolf's second three-pointer. Pioneer now has a 2-point lead as that ball brought ahead by Nadalny. Nadalny on the far wing. Brines working on her. Now Koviak moves it over to Ryan. Back to Kilney, top of the key. Over on the far side to Koviak. Koviak gets it to Nadalny. Nadalny coming in. That put up Off the glass, a little too strong for Ryan. Here comes DeWolf. DeWolf on the far wing. DeWolf for Pioneer. Gets it over to Hicks, top of the key. Hicks back to DeWolf on the far sideline. 44 seconds left to go in the third. Pioneer with the 30-28 lead. Back over to DeWolf. DeWolf on the far sideline gets a screen from Covington. Comes down the baseline, floats it up off the rim. Rebound, Clark who rattles it down. That's Clark's 4th point. Pioneer by 4, 23 seconds left to go in the third. Killinen brings it ahead. Killinen being watched by DeWolf, moves it on the far sideline for Ryan. Ryan trying to get down the baseline. And that is going to be an offensive foul on Bedford. 11.6 seconds left to go. Pioneer to inbound. They have the 4-point lead. It's been a back and forth game between these two teams. Neither one wants to give up an inch. Very, very physical underneath. Bogan inbounds to DeWolf. DeWolf over half court. DeWolf calling out signals. Top of the key. 4 seconds left to go. DeWolf steps back. Gets it to Stewart. Stewart into the paint. Floats it up. And just a little short. A Pioneer with the lead, 32 to 28, 4-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Taking a look if my tabulations are correct, I believe that's 12 points for Hicks. At this point, 6, 9, 12 for DeWolf, 4 for Clark, 2 for Stewart, and 2 for Bryans. Over on the other side, you have 6 points for Killinen. Let's see, 6 points for Ryan. That would be 7 points for Koviak and 7 points for Gray. Let's play Push On. Get you fired up for the fourth quarter. You're listening to Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball. As we are ready to get going, Bogan to inbound, 8 minutes up on the clock. Bogan gets it to DeWolf. DeWolf for Pioneer comes over center court. 7 minutes, 55 seconds left to go here in the fourth. Pioneer up by 4. Stewart has it on the near wing. She comes baseline down, trying to dump it underneath. That ball knocked away. Here comes Bedford with it. Tipped by Stewart, trying to keep it in bounds. Not quite able, but she stops the rush. She runs into the bench area, pops back out. That ball is going to be Bedford ball. Pioneer 32, Bedford 28, 7:42 left to go. As Killinen to inbound on that far sideline, trying to get it underneath the Koviak. Koviak bounces it off the glass, gets it in, as that is her 9th point. 2-point lead for Pioneer. Here comes DeWolf over center for Pioneer. DeWolf dribbling about 5 feet off of the top of the key. Now moves it over to Hicks along the near wing. Hicks picks up her dribble, kicks it over to Stewart. Stewart moves it over to DeWolf on the far wing. DeWolf being watched by Killinen. That over to Clark. Clark trying to get underneath. Clark puts it off the glass. Just a little off, but it is a foul. Clark will go to the line shooting, as I believe that foul, if I got that right, is on Koviak. That's her second. 4 fouls for Pioneer in this half, 3 for Bedford. Clark dribbles, puts it up. And off the front, the back of the glass would not fall. Clark will get another one. Covington comes in. Stewart, Covington, Clark, Hicks, and DeWolf in for Pioneer. Clark puts it up, puts it in. That's her 5th point. Pioneer up by 3. Killinen brings it ahead for Bedford. Being watched by DeWolf. Killinen comes down that far sideline on the far wing. Gets it over to Koviak. Koviak trying to get into the paint. Drifts it up. That won't fall. Collected by by Covington. Covington gets that ahead. Stewart trying to bounce it underneath, trying to get it to Clark. That went off of a leg, out of bounds. Pioneer ball as it went off of Bedford. Pioneer with the 3-point lead, looking to push it. DeWolf will inbound for Pioneer underneath their own basket. DeWolf kicks it all the way out to Hicks. Hicks, top of the key. Hicks gets a screen from Clark. Hicks, bounce pass, trying to feed it back to Clark. And Clark wasn't expecting it. Here comes Bedford the other direction. 3-point lead for Pioneer. That ahead to Ryan. Ryan skies it over to Killinan on the far wing. Ryan, top of the key, thought about it. Clark providing heavy pressure. Now that off the glass, Little strong. Stewart with the rebound. Stewart brings it ahead for Pioneer. Stewart gets into the paint, now kicks it to DeWolf. DeWolf for three. That off the arc, but grab that off to the rim, but grab. Good job by Clark to rebound that. Hicks moves it over to DeWolf. Pioneer gets the reset. 3-point lead for Pioneer. DeWolf dribbles. Steps back onto the blockades. Killinan follows her, now steps back a little bit. Clark providing a screen. That handed off to Hicks. Hicks working away around the arc, now gets it over to Stewart. Stewart on that far wing. Stewart steps back around the blockades. 5 minutes, 47 seconds left to go in the fourth. Pioneer by 3. Stewart on that far sideline, trying to get a little bit of room to work. Covington comes to the side. Now Stewart goes up off the glass and hits it, as well as a whistle. Felissa Stewart with 2 huge points there and 1. Stewart trying to earn 3 points the hard way. And she steps to the line. Out goes Podlowski. In comes Wyrick for Bedford. Clark and Brines on the line. There's a shot. Stewart, that fell off the side. Grabbing it. Coming down the far side is Gray. Tied up. And timeout called by Bedford as they saw a little trouble happening. Pioneers push their lead to 5. How about a little push on? Keep you energized. Keep the team energized. Keep everyone energized. You're listening to Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. 5 minutes, 29 seconds left to go in the fourth. Pioneer 35, Bedford 30. The Pioneer cheerleading squad to our right providing some definite crowd noise, some stomping, and trying to get their team fired up. Killinan to inbound, Bedford ball. Killinan gets it ahead, bringing it over Ryan over center court now. Gary has it back to Killinan. Killinan works her way around the arc. Hands it off to Wyrick. Wyrick in the corner. That over to Gary in the far corner, or excuse me, Gray. Inbounded over to Ryan. Ryan underneath trying to get it to Koviak. Out of bounds. Continues to be Bedford ball. Ryan will inbound. Ryan gets it over to Gray. Gray underneath. That off the rim. Pulled away from Ryan by Clark. Here comes Pioneer. 5-point lead. Looking to add more. Over to Hicks on the near wing. Hicks over to Brines in the near corner. Brines dumps it underneath to Clark. Clark spins with it in the paint. Puts it up. And off the front, the back, the side of the rim, but would not fall for Clark. She's had a couple tough luck misses. 5-point lead for Pioneer. Bringing it ahead is Koviak. Koviak moves over on the far side to Killinan. Killinan over to Gray on that far wing. Lost control. That'll be Pioneer ball, 4:34 left to go here in the fourth. Pioneer 35, Bedford 30. DeWolf brings it ahead, inbounded by Hicks. DeWolf for Pioneer comes over center. DeWolf moves it over to Hicks, over to Brines on the far wing. Brines works her way around the arc. Brines kicks it over to Hicks. Hicks into the paint. Hicks off the glass. A little too hard, rolled off the rim. Here comes Bedford, 4:12 left to go. 5-point lead by Pioneer. As Killinen brings it over half court. Killinen gets it over to Gray in the far corner. Trying to get it underneath to Koviak. Koviak trying to knock it off of a Pioneer player. That is going to be Pioneer ball, though. 4:01 left to go. Gray comes out to sit, get a breather. DeWolf gets the inbound from Hicks. Here comes Pioneer down court. DeWolf brings it over center. DeWolf comes up to the near wing. Now over to Hicks on the far wing. Moves it to Stewart. Stewart along that far sideline. Gets it back to Hicks. Top of the key. Hicks trying to work her way into the paint. Moves it over to Brines on the near wing. Brines on the free throw line. Gets it back to DeWolf. DeWolf dribbles to her left. DeWolf hands it off to Brines. Brines. Top of the key. Moves it over to Hicks on the near wing. Underneath, over to Stewart. Stewart skies it over to DeWolf. DeWolf over to Brines on the far wing. Over now, there's Hicks for three, and she hits it. 37 points for Pioneer, as that is officially Hicks' third three-pointer. In along, Koviak has it on the far wing. Pioneer 37, Bedford 30. Underneath that, moved over. There's a shot by Nadolny. Pulled away by Ryan. Ryan kicks it back to Killinen, top of the key. Now over on the near side, Nadolny into the paint, puts it off the glass, bounces around the rim 3 or 4 times, goes down. That's her first points of the game. Pioneer 37, Bedford 32. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. DeWolf has it. On the near wing, DeWolf. Timeout called by Pioneer. Pioneer has a 5-point lead. They had it extended to 7, their biggest lead of the game. They want to take care of it and make sure they close out this remaining 2 minutes, 30 seconds. How about a message from the MHSAA?
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
We really appreciate you supporting the teams. We would love to have you here, and hopefully not in the too distant future. We'll have people back, but thank you so much for watching, for cheering wherever you are at. We are very, very grateful because these young athletes playing their guts out definitely deserve a lot of support. Pioneer to inbound as Hicks has it on the near sideline. Hicks gets it over to DeWolf. DeWolf, top of the key, 2 minutes, 32 seconds left to go. DeWolf on the far wing, over to Brines in the far corner. Brines dribbles back to DeWolf. DeWolf over to Hicks, top of the key, being watched over there by Ryan. Hicks hands it off to Stewart. Stewart works her way around the arc, over to Brines. Brines, top of the key, gets it over to DeWolf. DeWolf being watched by Killinen. DeWolf comes back on the edge of the blockades, now comes over to the near side. Whistle. So that's going to stay Pioneer ball. That's, I believe, the second foul on Killinen. Hicks to inbound, gets it to DeWolf. DeWolf, top of the key, works around the arc. Grabbed and fouled. That is going to be by Wyrick. She gets her first foul. That's 5. Not quite to the bonus. 2 minutes, 5 seconds left to go. As Bedford has 2 fouls to give. That grabbed over. As DeWolf works her way around the arc, hands it off to Brines. Brines moves it over to Hicks. Hicks is bodied up by Ryan. That will be the 5th foul. Ryan's first, per my sheet. Timeout called by Bedford. So 6 fouls, 1 more for the bonus, 1 minute 55 seconds left to go. Let's play push on, get you fired up for these last 2 minutes. You're listening to Pioneer Women's Varsity Basketball. 1 minute, 55 seconds left on the clock in the fourth. 37 points for Pioneer, 32 for Bedford. 4 fouls for Pioneer, 6 for Bedford in this half. Hicks to inbound. Stewart looking for it now. DeWolf gets it. Just shy of the blockades. Back to Hicks, back to DeWolf. 1 minute, 50 seconds left to go. DeWolf dribbling down that far sideline, handing it off to Stewart. Stewart is fouled. That is going to be on Wyrick. That, I believe, is her second foul. Pioneer now in the bonus. Stewart shooting 1 and 1. Stewart toes the line. Huge free throws here. Covington comes in for Brines. Hicks and DeWolf getting last-minute coaching instructions on the sideline. Stewart toes the line, bends her knees, puts it up. And, off the front, the back, the side of the rim. Wouldn't fall. 1 minute, 41 seconds left. Here comes Bedford. Coming down the far side is Koviak. Koviak. That tipped out of bounds. That will stay Bedford ball. Killinen will inbound right in front of her bench. DeWolf trying to make it difficult for her. Killinen skies it underneath. That put up and in by Koviak as it's a 3-point game. As DeWolf brings it down the far side. There's a whistle. That one is going to be on Killinen, her third. 8 fouls. That'll put DeWolf on the line shooting 1 and 1. So these free throws become hugely, hugely important. No pressure though, right? As DeWolf toes the line, bends at the knees, puts it up, puts it in. Nothing but net. Huge basket there by DeWolf. $13 points. Now 14 points for DeWolf. That pushes the lead back to 5. As coming down the far sideline is Koviak. Koviak for Bedford. Moves that over to Nadolny. Nadolny working against Hicks. Dribbles outside the top of the key. Now that's moved over to Ryan. Ryan trying to move it over to Nadolny. Nadolny on the near wing. Now Killinen. Top of the key. Puts up a three-pointer. Puts it in. That makes it a 2-point game. That's her third 3 of the game. 9 points on all 3-pointers. So it's Pioneer 39 and Bedford 37. 1 minute left to go. And we'll keep it right here as the tension is mounting. Bedford has been, because of the 1-and-1 situation, they have absolutely been more than willing to foul. And so you want to keep the ball in the hands of your best free throw shooters. Most of these athletes on this team have done fairly well from the line, but it's a lot of pressure when it's a one-on-one. She missed the front end, and all of a sudden the other team rebounds the ball and starts the other direction. Pioneer to inbound, baseline left, leading by 2 points, but 1 minute left to go. So because there's no shot clock, either Bedford's going to need a steal or somehow intercept the pass. Coach Hicks looking for a little bit of information from the official. Clark will inbound, baseline left, so Well, they're taller players to inbound. That over to Hicks. Hicks dribbling down the far sideline. Hicks bounce pass ahead to Brines. Brines, that knocked away as 50 seconds left to go. Killinan has it. Here's a chance to tie for Bedford. That moving over to Koviak. Koviak, top of the key. Whistle and timeout called by Bedford. Huge defensive stat here by Pioneer, as long pass was just Bedford got a hand on it ahead as Pioneer was trying to push and managed to turn it over. Some of the crowd wanted a little contact, but it's Bedford ball with 40.1 seconds left. Let's play a little push on, keep the team fired up. And we'll have to cut that short as we are right back to action. 40.1 seconds left to go. Huge defensive set here for Pioneer, trying to keep Bedford from tying it up. The inbound is Wyrick trying to get it as that was Killinan trying to inbound, and she was having problems getting it in. So before the count of 5, Bedford calls another timeout. Let's see if we can get the whole push on here, trying to get that everyone fired up for this defensive set. .8 seconds left to go. Inbound on that baseline left. Bedford to inbound, Killinan to inbound. Covington keeping her back to her, trying to make it difficult. That is a 5 seconds. That's a turnover over to Pioneer. Timeout call. Ball goes over to Pioneer. So huge job guarding the inbound by Pioneer. That makes it 39.8 seconds left to go. Again, you know that Bedford has no compunction for fouling here. They're going to put everything on the inbound pass, try to steal that away. They'll have big-time pressure, and Pioneer will have to break that if at all possible. To get the ball ahead, you'd love to make it a 2-possession game, but Bedford's not going to let you hang on to it too long before they foul. 8 fouls for Bedford in this half, 4 for Pioneer. Pioneer in the bonus. As the cheerleaders to our right trying to will Pioneer to the victory. Pioneer will inbound. Clark will inbound. Baseline left. Huge inbound here. That gets it to Stewart. Stewart bringing it down the far sideline. Stewart double team tied up. Timeout called by Pioneer as Stewart was double teamed on that far sideline, trying to steal that ball away. 35.3 seconds left to go. Pioneer will inbound the ball in front of the scorer's bench in the offensive side. 2-point lead by Pioneer, 39-37. Pioneer would love to get a few more points here. Push it to a 2-possession game. Bedford trying to get a big stop. Both teams wanting to take second place in the SEC Red. That over to Brines. So Brines inbound to Hicks, back to Brines. Now DeWolf has it. DeWolf hit her last 2 free throws. That back over to Brines. Now Brines fouled. Reach-in foul. That will put Brines to the line. Shooting 1 and 1. So again, huge free throws here. As Jacqueline Bryan steps to the line, bends her knees, lots of noise from the JV. That ball on the ground, trying to pull it down, still trying to grab it. That lifted ahead. Here comes Bedford on the far sideline with it, trying to kick it back. There's a shot off the rim, pulling it down, tied up. Possession arrow. I swear it was pointing to Bedford before, but it's still pointing to Bedford. I must have missed it. So 6.7 seconds left. Bedford will inbound the ball underneath their own basket. Pioneer leading by 2. They would love to steal this inbound, at least make it a tough shot on Bedford as that ball comes in along the near sideline, Killinan with it. As some discussions about weekend plans going on the court. The officials are going to get together. 3.1 seconds left to go. Pioneer ball. Is the foul called on Bedford, I believe. Coach Ryan having his say on the side, talking things over with the official. Clark to inbound. Again, coming down to it. As both coaches talking things over. We'll see what they do with the clock. I think they're going to put some time back on the clock. Not 61 seconds, but they'll get that figured out. As Clark getting last-minute instructions from the coaching staff. 6.1 seconds left to go. Clark to inbound. Pioneer needs a clean inbound. If at all possible, break the press. Get it in the hands of a good free throw shooter. As that inbounded to DeWolf. DeWolf fouled immediately with 4.1 seconds left to go. Again, huge. Is that only the 9th foul? They were in the double bonus. Maybe I'm wrong. They must have had one more foul. DeWolf comes to the line. So not in the double bonus. That would be 1 and 1. Again, huge free throws. DeWolf bends the knees, puts it up, rattles in. That will make it a 3-point lead. This last free throw, another free throw coming for DeWolf. This would be huge, making it a 4-point lead. And it falls off to the far side. Coming up, Bedford with it, and they sky it up, and Pioneer wins the game. Valiant attempt by Bedford to hit that last shot, but it falls short. Pioneer comes away with a win versus a very gutsy, physical Bedford team, but Pioneer moves in second place all alone in the SEC Red, just looking up to Saline. If I take a look, trying to figure out some, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 14 points for DeWolf, 15 for Hicks, 2 for Bryans, 4 for Stewart, 5 for Clark. And again, this is my own tallies on a sheet of paper, so it's not official. I might have missed something. Killinan had 9 points on all 3-pointers. There was, 4, 5, 6 points for Ryan. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points for Koviak, 2 points for Nandalny, and Gray had 7 points. So that is your game. We will be back tomorrow as we have a trio of hockey games. We will have from 5 o'clock from the Ice Cube. It is Father Gabriel Richard versus Pioneer. And then we'll have at 7 o'clock the Pioneer women's hockey game. I don't remember who it is because I'm going to be racing from the Cube over to the Arctic Coliseum where Pioneer men's hockey will play Lenawee. So 3 games going on tomorrow. We'll have them for you. Then Sunday will be a well-deserved day of rest for us. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you for supporting the teams. Have a fantastic day. Pioneer wins the game. Have a wonderful evening and a great weekend. Thank you to my camera person, Christina Wiseman. My name is Mark Wiseman. Good night. We are clear.